I'm Tim Adkins, and this is your daily headline news for Monday, August 6, 2021. Heavy rains are predicted for today and into the evening for Louisiana, prompting officials to issue flash flood warnings for New Orleans, with some areas in the region expected to see 2 to 4 inches of heavy rain on an area already waterlogged and still recovering from Hurricane Ida. Most New Orleans residents are still without electrical power, while Hurricane Ida has claimed 11 victims in the Gulf region, poured 13 inches of rain on the low-lying area, and left millions without power, along with billions in property damage. President Biden visited the area on Friday and gave remarks linking the destructive storms to climate change and urging rebuilding efforts to take into account the changing climate and the growing impact that has on the severity and frequency of these disasters. That holdout province in Afghanistan appears to be folding, as reports are coming in that the Taliban have seized the majority of the region and the fighters are now confined to their mountain hideouts, with most recent reports saying the leader of the resistance fighters is ready to negotiate. Meanwhile, the Taliban is still in discussions over forming an official government. The lack of government is beginning to cause a breakdown in civil society, as reports of random violence against individuals known to be friendly to U.S. forces and women in positions of authority are attacked by what the head of the Taliban assures are rogue actors and are not acting on orders of the Taliban. A former Marine and veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan has apparently shot and killed 4 people in Central Florida, including an infant. The suspect was taken into custody by Polk County Sheriff's deputies and is being treated for gunshot wounds. So far, there appears to be no connection between the suspect and his victims. His wife has been quoted as saying her husband is not known to be a violent person, but that he suffers from PTSD. The incident began when the veteran, whose name is Brian Riley, stopped in front of the victim's home and sat in his truck. When he was confronted and asked what he wanted, he said that he was told by God that their daughter was going to commit suicide. Police were called, but the man drove off and could not be located. Around 4:30 a.m. that night, the suspect returned to the home, broke in, and began shooting the people inside. A deputy was in the vicinity, heard the gunfire, and alerted supervisors, and units soon began converging on the scene. A gun battle ensued, where the suspect ultimately surrendered, and one survivor, an 11-year-old girl, was rescued from inside the house with multiple gunshot wounds. The Justice Department has announced it will not tolerate violence against anyone who is trying to obtain an abortion in Texas, as the federal government looks into ways to challenge the Texas law that virtually bans most abortions. Attorney General Merrick Garland stated that the Justice Department would protect those seeking to obtain or provide reproductive health services under a federal law known as the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. The federal law prohibits physically obstructing or using the threat of force to intimidate or interfere with a person seeking reproductive health services. The law also prohibits damaging property at abortion clinics and other reproductive health centers. This comes in response to the controversial Texas law that bans abortions where a fetal heartbeat can be detected. The controversial law is different from similar measures struck down before because it hands prosecution of violators of the law over to private citizens to sue in court rather than arresting and criminally prosecuting them by the DA. As always, we'll keep you posted as these stories develop and more. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Tim Adkins, and this has been your Daily Headline News.